Hi everyone, this is Julia from the Macedon Public Library in Macedon, New York. Today is Thursday, May 7th, 2020, and I have had difficulty during this time of self-quarantine keeping track of days. So I've been looking things up on the internet, like what is today's national day of or international day of. When I realized last week that today, the 7th, was World Password Day, I thought I want to do something for this, even though I don't normally record on a Thursday. I have the fortune to have someone very close to me in my life that is a computer security professional, certified, and I've been aware of how well my passwords are safe or not safe for at least 10 years. So this is something that's a normal part of my life, and as we are doing more and more things online, with all the social media and even working from home, passwords are so critical in our lives. Strong ones, things that will keep our information safe. We can make sure that we know who has our information and hopefully what they do with it. So, but that's a whole, that's another conversation. Today we're just going to be a very short program talking about how we can help make sure that our passwords that we're in control of can be as strong and safe as possible. Nothing is ever hack proof or crack proof. But we want to do the best. Just like if somebody really wanted to steal your car, they would find a way to steal your car. But you want to put as many things into your car and lock it and park it in a safe space and maybe use one of the locking devices and maybe an electronic alarm system. As many things as you can do to keep somebody from doing it that will deter them. Same thing with keeping your house safe, things like that. So we want to do the same thing with our passwords, with our digital information. So I do have a slideshow that I'm going to go through and I will talk about it, and I'll show you a couple websites at the end, things that will help you with your passwords, because I know there are so many accounts that we all have, and we all need to have. One of the important points that I'll get to in just a second is having a separate password for each thing. It's hard to do that. You don't want to use the same password again and again. You don't want to use a variation of, blah 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 1, blah 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 2, blah 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 3. Again, those are not safe or secure. Just don't do that. So how can we create safe passwords, and then how can we remember what those passwords are? So let me share the screen, start with this, and start the slideshow. Okay, my screen around a little bit so that I can see everything. Okay, so I should say, if you notice the band around everything, myOpenShield.com. This is put together by Douglas Coberline, who is a certified computer security specialist. His business is OpenShield Security. So he's the one who built this. And thank you for doing this for us. And so this is where we're going. So passwords should contain all possible character sets. Anything that you see on a keyboard on your computer should be fair game for choosing your password. So you should have lowercase, uppercase words, letters, numbers, symbols, and special characters. So he uses green and red, which isn't great for people who are colorblind, but at the top, but he also says good and bad. So good, the one at the top has probably, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each thing has 12 characters. The first one has uppercase and lowercase, but it also has numbers and it also has special characters. So the first one has an underscore, it has an apostrophe, and an equal sign. The one on the bottom does have the uppercase and lowercase, but it doesn't have any numbers and it doesn't have any special characters. Most websites and places that you use a password for now will allow you to do special characters. One frustrating thing about them is they don't always tell you what the rules are when they ask you to create a password. So sometimes they'll say create a password and you put one in and they're like, nope, that one's not allowed because. Like, well, tell me first. Okay, so this is the first rule. You should have anything that is on the keyboard you should be able to use in your password. Next, passwords should have an absolute minimum of 12 characters. This is his rule. Also, if you are in an account of something that does not let you use 12 characters, if it says you can only use 4 characters, heaven forbid, or 8 characters or something like that, he suggests that you look for a competing service that does allow you to use at least 12 characters. That just means that the storage of your information on their side is going to be more secure if they have that knowledge that your password should have at least 12 characters. You can't always do that. I know there are some websites out there, possibly some banks. I know when I first started with our current bank, they had different rules for passwords. That has since changed, thankfully. But that's just something to be aware of. So he suggests a minimum of 12. Don't worry right now about how you're going to remember all these 12-character passwords. We'll get to that. Okay, passwords should be, this is his guideline, they should be as long as possible, generally up to 64 characters. Yes, he honestly has passwords that are 64 characters long. And other people do too. It's not a crazy thing. Because once you don't have to keep it all in your brain and you're not keeping it all on a piece of paper and having to retype it, the length of your password should not make a difference. The longer it is, the more points of, I'm going to say entropy, and I don't think that that's correct, but anyway, there's more, that just adds that much more difficulty to be able to crack the password. A reasonable minimum, he says, is 20 to 30, but aim for over 12. I have to say that there are some things, I'm in between password managers at the moment. I'm switching things over, and there are times that I do actually have to type it in. So I go for generally around 14 to 16 if in those cases. When it's something that I can just cut and paste from a password manager, then I don't, he's not here, I can't, I'm not going to tell him. I don't have anything that's 64 characters long, but I could. I mean, there's no reason not to. All right. And most importantly, password rules have changed, and what was once thought to be secure even 5 years ago or 2 years ago is no longer the case, because computers have improved so much, and the speed of computing is so quickly, and the way that people are attacking passwords has also changed. So at one point, a lot of places that were good and reputable said, oh, use a passphrase. You perhaps have heard of that. A passphrase is a string of words, for example, correct horse battery staple, that while seems secure because it has uppercase letters and lowercase letters, it is much less secure because it has words in it. And so one of the ways that passwords are now attacked is called the dictionary attack. And so anything that is a word, and that's not just a word in English, a word in any language, if it happens, don't type your passwords in Latin because you think, well, that's so esoteric, nobody knows Latin. But those Latin dictionaries are out there, and the passwords are run through these lists of words in a split second and so quickly. So the more that you have recognizable words, or even words, the letters that are like ASDF that are close to each other on a keyboard. I apologize. Again, you want to stay away from, because those are very common. Gosh, one thing that I meant to have for this morning that I didn't was the list of the top, say, 20 passwords from last year. They do this every year. Like they'll do the top 100, and often it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I kid you not, or A, B, C, D, E, F, or whatever. They're things that people shouldn't be using. I know you might think, well, that's not important. It's not for anything that's important. It doesn't really matter, but it all matters because everything can be tracked down, and the more accounts that you are involved in, that it makes a bigger picture of you that then people can use to attack your information in other ways, like when you get emails or you get something on Facebook that seems to really, like, wait a minute, is this really who this is? Maybe this is really someone who needs my $5,000. Like, no, it probably isn't. But it's because they've gathered information about you in these ways, because some of your passwords perhaps have not been as strong as they could have been. Okay, so again, back to the passphrase. Sorry, that was a tangent. So don't use things that have words. You want to randomize password. You want to have all of the different characters available on the keyboard, the specialized characters you want to have, parentheses and brackets and less than and greater than symbols and exclamation points and percentage signs, things like that. Okay, Next, do not use a password more than once. I've already talked about that. And definitely use a new password for every service, even if it seems unimportant. Even if you're just signing up for something, what's something that's, if you found a recipe on a website, which I've been doing more and more, and you say, oh, I want this. I want to sign up and get the emails. And then if you do that, then you can get into there and you log in, and then you can save the recipe there so that's easy to to print out or to remember for later. You can build up a list of recipes from that same website. Even something like that you think that is not important, it's not involved in any way with a credit card or with my banking or my work history or anything. Even that you want to have a secure password, because again, if it can be combined with other things, it shows more of who you are so that people can attack you more intimately. All right. Okay, so then the next section really is dealing with password managers. So a password manager allows you to store your passwords in a secure and convenient location. So you can, I should have even had a flash drive here. You can save it on your computer, on your hard drive. You can save it if you do it on your phone. You can save it actually on your phone. You can save it to something like Dropbox or the Google Cloud. So you can be saved in the cloud so that you can, whatever device you're on, you can do it. You can also save it on a flash drive so that no matter where you go, if you use a computer at home and you use a computer at work and you use a computer when you go to the library, you can use that same flash drive that will hold your passwords in it in a secure way and take it with you. So that's nice. That's all together. And then you only need to remember one master password that you want to be secure and randomized, but also something that you can remember, because that is the one password you will need to remember so that you can type it out whenever you need to get to all the rest of your passwords. But it will handle everything else. It will help handle the other 1,000 passwords you need, and you just need to remember the one. And additionally, a good password manager also allows you to create those randomized passwords. And not all password managers do this. Some of them just keep an organization of your passwords so that you can add them and remove them and that sort of thing. But you actually have to create your own passwords and then type it in. A good password manager will create passwords for you, and I'll show you a little bit about that. Okay. So my history, I said I've been doing this for at least 10 years. We started using something, at that point we were mostly all in my family using Apple products, and one password manager that was on Mac operating systems was 1Password. It was something you had to buy. It's a closed source password manager, which means they know what their encryption is, but they don't share that with anybody else. So there's no way for you to know how they're maintaining things. And it was, you paid for it once, and then you could use it on any device you could download it, and I was keeping my passwords in a cloud service. And so no matter where I went, I could always get to it. And then they made it for mobile, so then I had it on my phone, and then I got a new phone, but that also came on that phone. So I could still access my passwords remotely wherever I was on my phone. And sometimes if you're noticing I'm walking around the library and it's like I need to log into something, I will have my phone with me because that will allow me to get to the passwords. Like if I'm logging into my Google account or something like that. I also have two-factor identification, which is another thing that can be talked about, but not for password day. But I'm transitioning over to a password manager that is free and open source, which means the source code for how this password manager works is available, which means anybody can look at it, anybody can add to it, you can see how it's done. It's not behind closed doors. There isn't anything hidden about how it works. You can see how all the pegs fit together. So what he is recommending is an open source password manager like KeePass or KeePass XC. It is available for Linux machines, for Mac machines, for Windows machines. It's available on Android. It is available through a web browser. So again, you can log into it. You can save it on a flash drive. You can save it into the cloud. And then you can access it just from a simple web browser. You don't even need an application saved somewhere. And you can do it on iOS systems, so for like an iPhone. And I will show you how to get to all of that kind of information. All right, and then we'll come back to that. Okay, so let me stop sharing this. I said this was going to be a quick program, didn't I? Okay, so this is what he was recommending. Oh, I didn't share it though. So I'm seeing it, but you're not. Okay, so this is what specifically he recommended. It's fairly easy to use. It is free. There's no cost associated with it. It is cross-platform. It works for, here's a little bit about it. So it's KeePassXC.org. Sorry, if you go to the download page, they have it for Linux, they have it for Mac OS, so for your Macintosh computer, they have it for Windows. You can, right here, if you knew what you were looking at, you could download the source code, get some snapshots and see what things might be changing. And it is open source, like actually our computer database system that we use at the Madison Public Library called Evergreen is also an open source. So we appreciate things like that. So you can download it for whatever that you need. If you come here and it's going to show you, do you have most modern computers are going to be 64-bit computers, so you can do that, or 32. You can go and see some of the other packages that maybe make things a little simpler. Pretty much you're just going to deal with whatever's on the top, and you download it and it will install it. So that is one thing that he recommends. Let's see. The other thing he said is if you have like an iOS device, so a mobile Apple, an iPhone or something like that. I suppose it would also go for tablets. So this is the KeePass.info. So this is not KeePassXC. So KeePassXC is kind of, because KeePass is open source, other people have taken it and still kept it open source, so it's still open, but they've applied it in other ways. So there's different ways of using it. So that was KeePassXC that I just showed you. So that's their way of handling it. That's available on all those different systems. If you go to this KeePass.info download, scroll down, here you're going to see contributed unofficial KeePass ports. So they're not things that were officially supported through the KeePass big entity, but it's people who've taken that open source code and applied it in other ways. So you can see right here, they have lots of them for iPhones, for iPhones and iPads, for Android, specifically if you for Blackberries, Palm OS, believe it or not. So there's lots of things that are available, and that's one of the nice things about KeePass is it really is applicable and could be used by just about anybody and on any device that we are currently using. So that is that website. Whoa. All right. And then this is the one that he'd mentioned with for a web browser. So this is app.keyweb.info. And when you load that website up, this is what you get. And it's just kind of, I looked at it, it's like, it's just a big dark blue screen. So, but you go to more, anything with the 3 dots or 3 lines or something like that, click on it, it's never gonna hurt you. And then you can see there's a demo available, there's different settings. And then this is also a way to generate passwords. So I talked about that before. So if you click on this, this could also just be a website that you could go to help you generate passwords, but even if you don't use it to maintain your passwords. So when you click on generate, the lightning bolt, you can say how long you want your password to be. You can say whether you want it to be pronounceable, long, 4 digits, but there are some things where you have to do that, unfortunately. You can have different hashes. That's much more complicated. We could get into that, or you could email questions and get some information about what that is. That the more bit hash, the more complicated, the harder it is to crack. Okay, sorry, let's get back to that. So it starts out as 16, but I could go all the way up to a 64-character password. And as I move that, you see that that's changing. So right now the default is capital letters, lowercase letters, and numbers. But if I'm going to add that, like the exclamation point and such, then it adds those numbers, those characters in there too. You can do other ones as well, if you really wanted to. So this one down here, I don't know if you can see it if my mouse is showing up. Whoa, that would be like for foreign language keyboards. I'm going to get rid of the zeros and the O's because they tend to make things more complicated. So let's see, if I wanted, he suggested a 12 character. So this would generate that for me, and then I could copy that, or of course I could handwrite it, and then that could be my password for something. So I don't have to sit down and randomly figure out how to make the most random password when my brain just wants to think of A's and F's and the number 9. It will do it for me. And again, so it's like, no, let's make it a 22 character password. So there you go. So if nothing else, you can use this app.keyweb.info as a way to generate your passwords. But then here's the demo that shows you what this is. This is a fake account. That's just the demonstration of what it is. And you can see, you can come into an account. You would put in what the username is. Right now it's showing it as dots. If you click here, you could say reveal, you could copy it. So if you're going to copy and paste it into, say you're shopping and you want to get your, get into your LL Bean account, you can do the copy and paste from here. So you don't even have to type anything. You just copy and paste using your mouse. So you can copy, or you could reveal it and you could see what the created password was. Again, this is a demo. This is not, do not ever make that your password, your last name and what it is. Don't do that. This is going to be the website address. So you can give more information. You can give as many notes as you want. Here's somebody's router password. So not really, it really isn't. This is all a demonstration. So this gives you an idea of what you can, and then you can even search for it. Let's say, okay, I want to find out if there's an account for, I see it right there, but I'm going to say Facebook. So I'm typing it in up here. Oh, again, I hope you can see my mouse in the search bar, and there it is. So I don't even have to keep scrolling through to see it. So then you could scroll through everything else, or you could just say, nope, I need that. So I hope this gives you some idea. Let me stop the sharing for that. And I'll go back to that last page. This, maybe, if it lets me. Yes. If you have any questions related to passwords or your digital hygiene in general, it says, please contact us at contact@myopenshield.com. So he checks his email often, obviously. So if you have any questions about passwords, he would be glad to answer them. If you want to ask about what's the 128-bit hash, I'm like, I don't know what that means. Is that something I should do? How do I do that? Absolutely send an email. You could also contact us at the library at contact our director at Macedon. I'm going to forget it again. Macedon Library Director at owl.org, OWWL.org. Or go to our website, macedonpubliclibrary.org, and then there's contact information there as well. So I hope you have learned something from all of this. I've certainly talked a lot. This has gone on a little longer than I expected it to be. Obviously, it is something that I feel very passionate about. So I am in the process of switching everything over. I have 10 years worth of passwords in 1Password, and I'm switching them over to KeePass. And I'm also doing it. It has been this website ability is something that's just recently come up, which is awesome because it's been difficult I haven't been able to export my passwords from 1Password and just put them into KeePass because 1Password isn't letting us do that. So then this way with the web app, I can just do it all directly. I've had one computer here and one computer here and trying it. So anyway, so also because of going from Mac to a Linux-based system. So I will pretty much stop talking. One thing that I still wanted to mention that was not on the slide is that also you should be, because you're using a password manager, right? You should be changing your passwords on a regular basis. And I'm not a professional, I'm not certified in this, but I'm gonna say at least every 6 months. Now that doesn't mean that I do it, but I should. but you should change them because as you hear in the news and you're going to read on the internet that, you know, oh, so-and-so got hacked and so many thousands of emails or passwords were revealed, were stolen. Because when that gets out there, again, it's more ways to track you down. So if that happens to an account that you had, I'm going to say LinkedIn, because the big one happened a while back, you would say, well, that was bad, and that's certainly bad for the company, and it's bad for everyone. But I know that I've changed my password at least 3 times since then. So the password that was stolen back in 2018 is no longer connected to me or to anything else that I have. So because they can't get into my current LinkedIn account because that's not what it is. So if you change it on a regular basis, you are again safe in another way. I think that's it. I'm gonna stop talking and finish my cup of coffee and go pet my cat. So I hope you're all having a lovely day and be safe, and I'll see you later. Bye.